He who has patience has everything. Patience is a virtue, we are often told, and this little story illustrates how patience brought one couple more happiness than either children or money. A Nigerian Folk Tales. In the olden days, there lived a man who was so poor that he had only one cloth, and that was in rags. He had only a single wife, and she was childless. They had not other work to do except collecting firewood from the bush and had no reasonable hope of ever improving their condition. Nevertheless, they were content and believed that the future might bring them a better lot. The poor man also had a friend called Abinuku. He is angry to death, who hated everybody in his heart but did not show it in the face. The poor man thought he had a friend, but in reality, there was nobody to love him but himself. The poor man prayed to God for many years, asking him to better his life. When at last the time came that the Almighty God was ready to help him, he sent 3 heavenly creatures to visit the poor man. He sent 3 heavenly creatures to visit the poor man, and they were called Money, Child, and Patience. He told the poor man that he would be allowed to keep one of these wonderful creatures, while the others must be allowed to return to their maker. The 3 wonderful creatures set out on their long and troublesome road from heaven to earth. One day they arrived at a large river. The water was cold and deep, but Patient quietly walked through the flood. Then Child said to Money, "I am too weak to cross this river. You are big and strong. Please carry me across." But Money said angrily, "You impudent child! Would you make a senior work for you? It is you who must carry me through the river, or there will be a trouble." They were fighting for a long time, but in the end Patience returned and carried them both across. The 3 wonderful creatures finally arrived at the poor man's house. They were well received by the poor man, who gave them all the food he could find in his home. The poor man felt pleased and honored by their visit, but when he heard what they were coming about he got worried and confused. He felt quite unable to choose, and he asked the advice of his wife. "You foolish man," the wife said. "Don't you realize that we need money most of all? If we have child, what can we feed it on? And if we have patience, what use is that?" The poor man was still not sure what to do, so he went to his friend Abinuku and asked his advice too. Abinuku was very jealous because the 3 wonderful creatures had not come to him. He did not want him to have either money or child, and so he advised him to choose Patience. "If you choose child, you will not have money to feed it. But if you choose money and you have not child, your property will go to slaves after your death." The poor man did not know the answer to that, and so he went and chose Patience. His wife was very annoyed when she saw Money and Child leaving the house and Patience settling down to live with them. But the poor man was content, and Abinuku secretly triumphed. Now, Money and Child went on their way, and they came back to the same river, and they began to argue again who should carry the other across. They quarreled for a long time, and in the end they decided that, as they were unable to cross the river, they might just as well return to the poor man's house. When they arrived at the poor man's house there was great happiness, and the house became a house of song. Thus, Money and Child will in the end settle down where Patience had made its home. Patience is the father of every good thing in life, but do not misunderstand me, my friend. When you sit in your garden and a snake comes to bit you, I am not telling you to be patient then.